Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV and your uncensored match build-up show ahead of Liverpool going once again all the way down to Southampton, this time in the Carabao Cup, this time in the quarter-finals. I'm Dan Clubb, that's Sam Walker, that over there is Andy Hodgson, and we're going to talk about that game. Do feel free to get involved in the chat as ever. We want team news, we want score predictions, we want all that good stuff. And basically, I want to know if you care or not, ultimately, about this game of footy. First off though, gents, how are we? Are we good?
All good, thank you.
Yeah, all good. Happy days, wonderful. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Southampton, then we'll have a break. I'll ask you a trivia question, and then we'll crack on with a proper Liverpool chat, shall we? Sam, I'll come to you first, mate, on Southampton. Managerless Southampton, of course, now. Russell Martin sacked at the weekend. He could have been sacked after 15 minutes, that game of footy, to be honest. They were 5-0 down in about 20. Simon Russ going to be in charge. Listen, how much will Southampton care, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to ask as well, because bottom of the league, rooted bottom of the league, just 5 points from 16 games of football. Like, they're staring over the shoulder, and then there's what Southampton are right now. Like, they are doomed to relegation, really. Again, Carabao Cup quarter-final, does it matter to them? How do they approach this one?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I was thinking, before he got sacked, this is not where they really want to be. They need to get points fast in the league. They're struggling. They still play decent football, but it's a bit like Burnley last year. They're just not getting results, are they? Did all right against us, did all right in some of the other games. You can see there's something there if they get it right, but unfortunately they haven't been racking up the points. I thought this would be a game where it's our reserves versus their reserves, and just naturally we're just better than them. Yeah. But I do think now with the manager going, the interim manager, the Thomas Steven Gerrard, they might as well stick with the interim manager at the moment. So I think it's an opportunity for him to kind of do something and re-galvanise the club. I mean, there's no point in them staying in the Carabao Cup. They're not going to beat any of the other teams in the semi-final over two legs, and there's no money in it till the final anyway. So it's just a tricky one, innit? Because they're at home. What do? The interim manager can't really win if he plays the better players and they get injured or they get tired for the weekend, or do you rest them and get beat again? And it's a bit of a tough decision for him to make. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, I mean, teams have won this competition down the years and got relegated with it. Remember Birmingham did it years ago. Like, it is a thing that has happened, but Sam's right, ultimately, Andy. Like, Southampton, they don't need more injuries. They don't need more problems. They probably don't need more fixtures either, because this would add two, at least, maybe even a third fixture would be the final. So, yeah, do you think they will just look at it and go, it's Liverpool, likelihood is we get beat whatever we do, so maybe just put out a weakened team and kind of see what happens?
Yeah, that'll be the obvious kind of thought, but being a manager, playing Liverpool, he's going to want to try and claw something back, isn't he? Be in the cup, beating Liverpool, but he's going to put a strong side out, I think.
Yeah, it's a good point, and I guess that would sort of boost his own sort of managerial credentials, and if he has got aspirations of being a manager at Southampton right now, or further down the line somewhere else, having a win over Liverpool on your CV would be very handy for that. So it's an interesting point.
Has he managed anywhere before, or has he always been like a number two?
I'll double check. I think I'm right in saying he was an England youth coach for a while, but I mean youth coach as well. So I'll look into that in a minute. Just in terms of the injuries, Southampton, Gavin Bazunu, who won the goalkeeper, is still out. Ross Stewart's still out. He's been out for a long time. Jack Stevens is suspended. Aaron Ramsdale, obviously the goalie, we know about him. He's still out injured. William Smallbone's out. They've got a decent list of injuries anyway, without factoring this game, and again potentially more games down the line as well. So yeah, and I guess also, Sam, I'll come back to you on this one, because you made the point, and rightly so, about the style that Russell Martin was wedded to, and he was unwilling to change, and maybe that cost him his job ultimately. New manager comes in, maybe with a slightly different philosophy. Like, how difficult is that to suddenly say to the players, I know you've been doing this for the best part of 18 months and this got you to the Premier League, but I don't really like that, so we're going to do this instead?
Yeah, I mean, he should have the same philosophy really, shouldn't he? He's the number two of the manager. They should be sat there together. I know we haven't spoken about Liverpool yet, but part of the press conference here this morning was Slot talking about how intertwined him and Heitinga actually are, because obviously he's suspended. Surely it should be the same. Like, what's his name?
Simon Rusk.
Simon Rusk should be the same as his predecessor. They should be devising these plans together. However, I suppose no matter who you will probably do things slightly different if you're the decision maker. So it might be as simple as, like, when we're in this situation, just go long. Like, don't mess about and try and cut out a couple of errors. So maybe there's room to play a bit more percentage football, but like I said, in theory, if there's any sort of cohesive collectiveness that has come up from the Championship, they should theoretically be doing similar things.
No, absolutely. He stepped up for under 21s for this gig, so I'm not sure he was involved in the senior stuff. I think Russell Martin's staff might have gone with it. But you are right. We've seen this with Jurgen Klopp, and we've seen this at Liverpool Football Club generally. Whatever the head coach wants kind of drips down into the academy and the 18s and what have you. So it may well be the case that he has been playing a similar style. I just had a quick look now while we were talking about his track record, really. He was a player as well for a long part of his career. He managed Brighton and Hove Albion under 23s. He managed Stockport for a little bit at senior level. Dundee was assistant manager. England under 19, which is what I remembered earlier on. Southampton 21s now, of course. Southampton caretaker.
Sounds
manager.
like a proper footballer manager with those clubs, though, doesn't it? Like Brighton and under 19s. He's not going to be knocking it in the channels and saying win throw-ins.
I wouldn't have thought. And again, Southampton's team isn't set up to do that, is he? Apart from the big lad who caused us absolute nightmares of a week, he was hard work. He was. But aside from that, it's a ball-playing side. They want to play out from the back. And whether he does just say, listen, I know this is what we want to do, but we've been taking too many risks and it's been costing us too many points and too many goals, ultimately. If you think you're in danger, get rid, because Russell Martin would not have had that whatsoever. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a really interesting one. Not as interesting as what Liverpool do, I wouldn't have said, though, which we'll come on to in just a few minutes. And before we do, I've got a trivia question for you at home, watching, or at work, if you're doing that, which is fine, and you guys as well. A lot of Liverpool sort of Southampton crossover when it comes to players, a lot, by the way. I asked this last time we played him, it was like 20 odd have played for both clubs, so I'm not going to ask you that again. Instead, what I'm going to ask you is, how many goals did Sadio Mane score for Liverpool? All comps. And don't answer it now, by the way, answer after the break. Closest wins my approval, nothing else. Do answer that at home as well, and we'll be back in literally like a minute and a bit.
Hey, week 3 of our incredible festive giveaways over from redmenplus.com. This week we're going to be giving away Soccer Stars, Jeff Twentyman's book, Jeff Golding Stanley Park book, and a top prize, this by Peter Kenny Jones, the Tommy Lawrence book, signed by none other than the author himself, by George Scott and by George Sefton as well. Get involved by heading to redmenplus.com, signing up as a Legend tier subscriber or upgrading your current subscription to get your name in the hat for those daily draws. Don't forget though, stick around, Christmas still to come. Signed Kenny Dalglish shirt could be yours as well.
Hello, welcome back to the Redmen TV and your Uncensored match build-up. Liverpool Southampton tomorrow night at time of recording, 8 o'clock kick-off. Sadio Mane then, gents, how many goals did he score for Liverpool? Feel free to say exactly what you said in the break, by the way.
All competitions.
All comps, just goals for Liverpool.
I didn't expect that question, to be honest.
I don't blame you. If I'd have told you in advance, there would have been no fun, would it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You could have told us on the way in, and it's one of them. Did you remember it? I'll go 107.
Okay, Andy.
Okay, I'll say 150.
Okay.
Ooh.
And the correct answer is, as Stuart Wisby. I don't know if he cheated, Stuart. I'm going to say.
Of course he did.
I mean, I'll be honest. He was pretty quick. I'm fair. I mean, he might have fast fingers. I'm not willing to comment.
Siri, Alexa, and other AI available.
All just happened to be on Sadio Mane's LFC history page at the time. We just don't know, do we? We'll never know. Either way, Stuart, I'm proud of you, and congratulations again. You win absolutely nothing.
Well, it's Stu.
So well done, you.
What did you get? What was the number?
120.
Oh, it was 120. Sorry,
I thought I said. Sorry, I put it on screen. Maybe I didn't say. My eyes can't see that either, to be honest with you. So I don't blame you. On to Liverpool then, shall we? I want to talk about Sloth's press conference, and there's a lot of news from it, which I'll discuss in more detail in a minute. But before I do, I alluded to the fact earlier on, and I'll come to you on this one, mate, that kind of how much do you care? For what it's worth, I said it flippantly, but I do care a lot about this game. I want us to win this game. I want us to go on to the semi-finals and then hopefully final, and hopefully win the actual competition because I like it, and I like trophies. But you asked, because there's a lot of games ultimately, and there's some injuries and there's some fitness problems. So how much of a priority, how important is this really?
Yeah, well, they're always important, aren't they? But I understand what you're saying, like with injuries, and there's a lot to go through. But even these domestic cups, they're all important, aren't they? They're all. I do want to progress in all of them.
It's the Wembley trips, isn't it, for us?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is?
But we have to think about the collateral damage through it all, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It's just one of them, but...
Quick question for you, though. Because we're so far already, and we're going to have to play this game tomorrow anyway, regardless, aren't we? So it's there's potential 3 more games to win it. We're going to have to play the FA Cup anyway, aren't we? So if you had a choice now to like win this competition and maybe we're not going to lose to Accrington, but maybe, you know, get a really hard game in the 4th round and go out, which one would you do? Just because of how far we are already, do you know what I'm thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. FA Cup's FA Cup, isn't it?
Yeah. There is that.
Do you know what I mean? You can't deny the FA. But I don't know. It's all like guessing. We can, we can't. We should, we shouldn't. And at the end of the day, they're just ploughing forwards, aren't they? They're just taking each game by each game, and
they absolutely are.
Where the chips lie, isn't it?
And it was interesting. Slot this morning, he never sort of outwardly came out and said, "Listen, I'm going to make loads of changes here," but he hinted at more than enough, really, when it comes to that. He did speak about Diogo Jota. Unfortunately, post game didn't pull up too clever. I think it's fair to say he used the phrase "not completely fit" after Fulham. And he didn't train yesterday, so they're going to sort of see how he is today. But he did then go on to say that it's unlikely that he'll start this game. I had him down for sort of an hour here because I felt like that would be good for him. That isn't going to be the case. He spoke about Chiesa as well. He basically said that Chiesa wouldn't be able to do 90, so we can factor that. We did. We can factor that into our thinking, but does that mean an hour or does it mean 30? I guess really, because that's the way we always split it here for Andy. We always do that. It's never true, but it's the way it is. Other than that, he referenced the fact there's only 4 fit defenders, so we're either going to see academy lads or lads you might not expect playing in defence, which I think is fair. He definitely said Keith and Kelleher will start, so we can cross that one off our list. Sam, I'll come to you on it, mate. We'll start talking names in a minute, but sort of following on from Andy as well. How strong do you want to go in this? Are you prioritising protecting lads or prioritising winning?
No, I think there's a few lads who will need to be looked after. Like, I will say names. I think Gravenberch, because we don't have the cover, and we do with Endo and Morton, but they're not the same style type of player. So I think the likes of him, the likes of Trent, and maybe Salah, although he's a machine, he'll probably just be on the bench anyway, regardless, sort of break glass.
Harvey did as well.
But that's what I mean. But I think some of the ones who've played loads, maybe Verge, but I think he might play.
He's played the most minutes this season.
I know, but the way he plays the game, I think he can get through a half an hour period in a game without doing that much. As in his words, he'll have to train with the kids anyway. Anyway, it's another story. But I think he'll protect the ones that need protecting, and the ones that maybe could do with protecting, leave having the bench or give them a short amount of time. I think there are games coming up beyond this. Leicester at home, the FA Cup game, the potentially the next round of this competition, the Champions League games, where we can bank minutes for we can sort of bank resting for certain players. So I think you'll see a bit of a hybrid. Also, we need to win a game. We haven't won a game. We've won 1 game in 3. We need to get back on the back.
That's another thing. Like tomorrow, usually you'll be thinking about putting our kind of B side players out, whereas Southampton will be, I think, sniffing a bit of blood for tomorrow. Possibly.
There's a lot to be gained. There's lots, and you mentioned there momentum, rhythm in terms of actually winning the game of footy would be really handy. Also,
they'll be looking after Jota now.
He
said didn't he? Said he will play. He probably will get some minutes, but he won't be able to start.
He won't be able to start the game.
The last 6 minutes or so.
But there's a couple of lads that do need minutes as well. Harvey Elliott's definitely one of them. I think 100%. Alexis McAllister falls into his back as well because he's been suspended recently. So Endo without a shadow of a doubt. But just in terms of what's best for some of these lads, in terms of where they're at, game management wise, heading into the weekend, of course, which is Spurs. You said it there, Sam. The next round of this competition, the semi-final, potentially, are staggeringly staggered from the 8th of January, which would be the first leg, to the 5th of February, which would be the second leg.
And both actually don't fall at bad times, No,
they're decent times.
When you look at the who's around it.
But what they are is a month apart.
Yeah, which is actually not a bad thing either, because you're not intensity.
Can I suggest it's still wild?
they should
two
just have
legs
one
of
game.
a competition that far apart.
Well, the league
See
is...
it in 4 weeks.
So much could have changed.
Yeah.
The landscape, literally, there's a transfer window open when you play the first game and then close when you play the second. Like, honestly, it's nuts, absolutely nuts. But yeah, it is what it is. And the final, for talking sake, is the 16th of March. But we'll deal with that.
Yeah, that's later as well, isn't it? That's 2
It's
weeks later
normally
than
Feb,
normal.
isn't it?
So it's the very, very end of Feb, for like
Normally
1st
Feb.
of March or something like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's normally Feb. No Andy Robertson, of course, as we know.
I'm surprised we never appealed that, but I wonder if it's just he weren't going to play anyway. So it's just like, what's the point?
Do you appeal for a Carabao Cup game away? Maybe, yes, maybe.
Or just, we'll save doing the PGML OL's heading
paperwork
for another time. Because they hate us anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Any good grace we can get with them might do us a favour. Though Slot did reference the fact that he's tried to rant and rave, because obviously he's suspended for this one, as you mentioned earlier on. He's tried to rant and rave to get good decisions. In the past, you talk about back at Holland and that doesn't work, so he might just try and be a bit calm now and see if that works, but nothing works with the PGMOL. Not when you're a Liverpool manager anyway.
No, when you've got Mike Dean and Dermot Gallagher laughing at the decisions. Like, even retired refs can see that they're getting it wildly wrong time and time again anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's just hope one of the conference ones. Did he give us a League 2 ref on Saturday? Didn't he? Let's see if they give us they might go a step lower this game. Hopefully we get a bit more luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do. I've done. Costa Simicas is close. That was good. He's going to train today. I don't think he'll be involved for this one necessarily. So let's dive into the actual team and who it could be. We've already mentioned Keller. He will start in goal. No issues there whatsoever. Defence. This is probably the hardest bit of it, actually, to be honest, Sam. I'll come to you on it first, mate. Fewer people in the chat getting their teams in, which is great. Continue to do so as we talk through it. You mentioned Trent needing protecting, so no him at right back.
No Trent.
Who instead?
Right back's one of those. I'm going to go forward to go backwards. I thought he would play Jota and Nunes together because they put up something like 4 goals and 3 assists between them when they've played Jota in the 10, Nunes in the 9. It's kind of worked for some reason, but that's not going to happen now because Jota's not going to start. So I thought what that might do is knock a midfielder down, like a Morton or an Endo, back into the back line. Now that, as I said, that's probably not going to happen. I think you're more likely to see. I think Quanston Van Dijk will play, and I think you might just see. Maybe he'll play Gomez, but I'm thinking he might just do 50-50 Gomez and Van Dijk, unless he plays Nalo and puts Gomez at right back, and then maybe gives Quanston the second half. I think there'll definitely be some creativity there. I don't know who the next young right back is. You'll know much more than I will.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Ultimately, Conor Bradley is the answer to that question, but not available. Beyond that, the issue is they are young.
Really?
Like you're talking at 18. And Josh Davison would be the name that springs to mind.
Is he playing for the
immediately.
21s? Is he?
21's a little bit. Lucas Pitt maybe as well falls into that bracket, but there aren't names sort of jumping off the page and saying he's the answer.
Who's the next left back?
James Norris, I think, will play.
Okay, sound. What about you?
I think James Norris. Any thoughts on the defence, Andy?
help me here, lad.
I think he'll do what you said. I think he'd put Gomez right back.
You reckon, yeah?
Yeah, I think he'll put Quanston in with Van Dijk as the leader.
Yeah.
The back, to keep things in order. Left back.
He's not going to be ready, I don't think.
On the bench, maybe.
Maybe a place on the bench. I honestly think James Norris will start this one because left back is the most
Yeah.
complicated of these.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
James Norris is, I think I'm right in saying he's like 21. He's not a kid.
He could take Trent, bring Trent on for the last half an hour and throw Gomez left back and sort of, you know, he could get like, you know, creative that way. But again,
yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it?
It's tough. Marvin Allo, I do think we'll see a Marvin Allo tomorrow night. Young centre-half. Yeah, he's captained the 19s at UEFA Youth League level quite a lot this season. Terence Miles is the other defensive name you could potentially see in the rounded, but I think the left-back one, Terence Miles is a right-back actually for it. I think the left-back one, I do think could be Norris because he played all last season alone at Tranmere. And I'm aware, League Two, but that's senior footy.
Yeah,
against
proper
lads. And we have a major left-back problem.
Just put Endo in there.
yeah. I'll tell you what the other one is, and I know
Shield in.
Yeah, he could do if he wants to end it. The other one to consider, but I think he played yesterday for the 21s, is Isaac Mabaya, who you might remember absolutely tore it up a couple of years ago in pre-season, and he's been injured ever since. Yeah, he was unbelievable. Like everyone was saying, who's this kid? Like before Conor Bradley came around, but he's been injured ever since, more or less. But he's back playing now, which is good. But listen, the defence is a nightmare. So have we got any sort of Kelleher, right back, Joe Gomez? Javel Quansah, Virgil, and then maybe James Norris.
Yeah, so then you're changing 3 of the back 5, and I think that's going to be enough.
Okay. We are going to be up against the Southampton team that want something out of this season, like obviously.
Yeah.
So they're going to be offered. They're going to be offered tomorrow, aren't they?
Okay, interesting. Let's move on to the midfield then. I think this is more straightforward to pick. To be
McAllister
honest.
starts.
Yeah.
He's got to, any.
Yeah.
Endo starts.
Too long off. Endo starts.
Endo, yeah.
Endo's the other shout for right back, by the way. I think he has played right back before as well for Club and Country on the odd occasion. So
Surprise me.
yeah. So the only other thing would be if Endo does go right back, you could have Tyler Morton in there because he's fit and available, isn't he? He's been in the squad a lot.
Yeah, McAllister, Endo, Morton. McAllister was the most advanced.
Possibly.
That's the one that makes sense. Maybe not in terms of balance and in terms of quality, but in terms of availability and fitness and minutes. That's the 3, I would say. But then you need to get Harvey Elliott some minutes.
Yeah.
So are you doing that from right wing? Because if you can't get, you don't want 90 out of Salah. Ultimately, you don't want that.
No.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 90 out of Chiesa or Jota. So does Elliott become a right winger in that conversation then?
Possible. Either that or he'd bring Elliott on for a bit of energy in like second half.
I
don't
think
know.
he starts.
I don't know how fit he is.
Yeah.
I mean,
He should be fit.
He should be
enough for
fitter
60.
than because he played. Come on, last couple of games, is that right?
Yeah.
I think he does the full game. He's
Really?
been fit for a while, and he came back after international break, didn't he? He's been a good three odd weeks. He's been in training. I just think he plays the full 90.
Really? Okay.
Well, I think he came back in November. We're on now the 17th of December. He's been fully fit for 3 weeks, back in training, available in the squad. I don't really know how much longer you need to get match fit.
No.
Come on, was he come on 2-3 times off the bench?
Mm-hmm.
It's a League Cup game. The intensity is probably going to be a bit lower anyway.
So something like
I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the 10, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the 2 left wingers who have rotated lots this year do a half each. Because if you look at their numbers and compare them to Salah, every game, maybe Diaz has done a bit more, but if every game, Salah's crept further ahead in the numbers because Gakpo will do 60, Diaz will do 60. So whereas Salah's playing 90, and even at times maybe Nunez has done it until we started putting Diaz in front, is where they've been rotating all season. So if they went and just done 45 each, I don't think it would do too much damage because only one of them is probably going to start on Sunday anyway as well. Unless he goes, Gakpo, you're playing because Diaz is going to play Sunday. But because I can't see one of them having both games off. It just doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean?
I think a 45-45 split is something we've seen last season with the centre halves especially.
Yeah.
And we might see it again in this game. We'll wait and see, obviously. But I think with those two in particular, it would make sense because it keeps them both ticking over as well. It keeps them both fresh. It keeps them both sort of at it. And that competition, I think Gakpo's stole the march on Diaz, for what it's certainly in the left wing role.
Last couple of weeks,
Diaz has played well, but as a centre forward, it feels like for a little bit of time now. So it's an interesting one. Stuart Wisby says Diaz on the right, Gakpo left, and Nunez in the 9.
I think he'll play Chiesa, and he'll just take him off when he needs to.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah,
and just play Elliott in the 10. Just get at them.
Bit of Chiesa, Andy, you up for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been waiting, haven't we?
We have been waiting. He's got a song already. He's got a song. He's got a song before he scored a goal.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's this fan base. Honestly, yeah, it's boss. It's boss ultimately. So okay, we've had lots of chat there. I don't know what this is going to sound like, but let's try and pick some sort of 11. Jayden Danns. I'd love to see Jayden Danns. I'll tell you now. So I mentioned this yesterday on the pod. So apologies to people listening for the second time or whatever. Jayden Danns, Trey Naoni is somebody we haven't mentioned.
Yes.
He's well worth a conversation, by the way. James Norris, as already mentioned, and then Marvin Nallo. I think I'm right in saying they were the 4 who didn't play yesterday for the under-21.
Did that young lad play the winger?
Vio Ungamoa, no, and I knew somebody was going to bring him up. People already have in the chat. He played for the 18s.
He's very, very, very liked. And I heard 3 or 4 times by the senior players.
Really, yeah. No, and he's trained a lot with the first team. It's interesting with Vio. I watched him on Saturday for the 18s against Wolves, actually. And he's a ridiculous talent. The kid's are ridiculous. He's 16, ultimately. He's ridiculous. But he played Saturday, so does that mean he won't play this game, potentially? Whereas the lads who didn't play yesterday are more likely to be involved. Certainly the names I've mentioned, anyway. Vio's boss. And he's frightening. He's got that low centre of gravity, and he just runs at people time and time again. His feet are an absolute farce, to be honest with you. They're a joke. I don't know how you stop him. Honestly, he's unbelievable. But I don't know. It feels like a big old jump. I know he's trained a bit with the first team and stuff like that, but he's got like a handful of 21's appearances under his
enough,
belt.
yeah.
You know, I don't know. I might be wrong.
He doesn't seem like a wild card thrower slot, does he? Whereas Klopp would just like pluck a kid. Well, he brought Nione on when he was 16. Like
Ben Doak was that.
Ben Doak, yeah. Maybe Accrington's a target for him, a squad to be in the squad.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for him. I think it'd be a great experience. Even just the travel on the trip down. You've seen Liverpool do that in the past. Just take kids with them for the experience. Like, this is what it's like to travel with the first team. You know what I mean? And you've said it there. They've got very high aspirations, and they think it's ceiling. They've spent not a large amount of money, but he spent a lot of sort of time, effort, and resources getting to the football club from Chelsea in the summer, of course. So yeah, the kid's sensational. Are there anyone? And JD just sort of brought this to my attention. Now I'll ask you both, and I'll ask the chat as well. Is there anyone you would like to see tomorrow? Chiesa might be the answer, but in terms of like the kids and stuff like that, is it a little bit of Trey Naoni? You know, when the game's won. Do you want to? I like seeing Jayden Dans.
I was just about to say, you mentioned Jayden Dans there.
Yeah.
Like, I like him as a player. I think the first glimpse we seen of him was...
He scored against Southampton.
Was it last year?
Yeah, he scored twice against Southampton.
Yeah.
That was after the League Cup though, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It was quite close. It was like 3 or 4 days later, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when he first came on. Was that it? Was it the final?
I don't think that was his first game, but that was his
the final
introduction.
his first? Was it, or did he come on another game? I'm trying to think when he actually made
We'd
his
seen
debut.
him before that. I can find that.
I feel like we'd seen him before. Was it Forest? I don't know.
I think it was Forest.
Just came on, yeah, and just ran around, caused a bit of chaos. And then obviously
he's seen him a few times. Like he's got promise. I think like, he's one of them players who he looks like grounded as well.
Yeah, his dad's a nice fella.
Yeah,
he knows that well, don't you? He's assistant manager of Tranmere, isn't he? His dad.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Neil Danza.
Yeah, he made his debut. It says here in the Carabao Cup 23-24 campaign, the second half sub against Morecambe. Which is not something I was going to say out loud, but there you go. That's what it says, Wikipedia.
We've never played Morecambe
Made
in the
his
Carabao Cup.
debut at first team level, been a second half substitute against Morecambe in September 2023.
Was that? Well, that's random.
I'm with you.
Don't remember that game. Something's going on there with the internet.
He scored on his Anfield debut twice. That was
game,
Lewis Kuma. That was the FA Cup. Lewis Kuma scored as well in that game. The kids.
Do you know what that might be? That might be the 21s because they play in that competition, which is seen as a senior
It
competition.
did say first team though. I'm with you, by the way.
Yeah, I don't remember us playing. I think that'll be the what's it called? The cup they play in, where our under 21s play against the sort of League Two teams.
It's been the Papa Johns.
Yeah,
I want to say it's the Papa Johns.
Yeah, because they play like Bradford and teams like that. Crew, decent sides who are in them leagues, and obviously gives them a good experience. I would like to see Dan's squad. The only thing I would say is we've got 6 fit forwards now. I'm not sure Slot throws them in. Maybe again Accrington, just because he'll want to make sure Jota gets on if he's fit. He'll want Darwin to try and get some confidence up and get more goals and assists if he can. He'll want, and I think he'll want Chiesa to try and have a positive impact. And Salah will probably be tapping him on the shoulder all game saying, "Get me on, Gaffer, get me on, Gaffer, get me on, Gaffer," because that's just what he's like, isn't he? So, unless he gets left at home, but
there's a chance that happens.
If that happens, maybe. But it's interesting because Slot, what does he want? Does he want to win this competition? Does he want to just win a trophy with Liverpool and go, I'm here?
He might see it as
that. Hard to know, innit?
Yeah, he might see it as the fastest route to silverware. Yeah. Because it literally is. A, because we're in a quarter-final, and B, because the final's in March. You know what I mean? Like, it is literally that. And you're right, if he can put that on top of the mantelpiece on the table and say, we build from this, fair play to him. Because Man City's done it for years, Pep Guardiola. Winning breeds winning, you know what I mean? And it's ultimately, it might not be everyone's favourite piece of silverware, it's certainly not mine, but it exists, you know what I mean?
It's confidence as well.
Absolutely it is, from the mentality, 100%. And it's the experience. A few of these lads have been there, seen it, done it, won the silverware now, but there's a couple of lads in around the squad that haven't done that for Liverpool yet. So 100%. I would like to see Jayden Dans tomorrow. I'm just glad he's back playing, ultimately, full stop. Sound, did we pick a team? I don't even know. Did we?
We picked the squad.
There's a lot. I think the point about
too hard.
It is hard. I think the point about people not travelling is a good one because I know Gravenberg didn't travel to Brighton. He watched it with his missus. Well, I say that. I think they're having dinner together and he was watching it on his phone. And his missus took a picture of him and put it on Instagram. I think I remember that rightly.
That's funny.
Good on him. Yeah, loves the club. Sound okay. I'll try and pick a team then. Just finally, Kevin Keller, Joe Gomez, Joel Quansah, and Virgil van Dijk with James Norris at left back. I'll go with Taro Endo. I'll go Alexis McAllister, and Harvey Elliott. I think that's fair. I agree with your point about Chiesa. I think I'd go Chiesa, Núñez, Gakpo, with a view to getting Gakpo off for Diaz.
Still a good side, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a side that wins the game?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
In that case, predictions?
3-1.
I was going to say 3-0, yeah. But...
Yeah, happy with that?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think he'll learn from the mistakes of last time as well. Because he played them not long ago. I think he'll pick up a lot. He seems like a bit of a tactical.
Yeah. No, he does that at half time most of the time.
So I think
There'll
that
be a
helps
few
us.
players there as well,
Yeah.
that'll want to impress as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
That's the beauty of picking sides like this, because they need minutes, they need some sort of action, because they've been chomping at the bit for weeks, watching on from the sidelines, but also they should see it as an opportunity to actually, like you say, put in a good performance and say, next time you need someone on it, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, so I 100% agree with that. And again, I think it'd be interesting to see what Southampton do, because I remember when we played Leicester in the Cup at Anfield, and Minamino saved the day, didn't he, later on, and Jota did what he did in the pen. But the first half of that, we picked a really weakened side, and Leicester went full strength. This is when Leicester were.
There's a caveat to that, though, remember.
Go on.
They had the week off with COVID and didn't play a match for 10 weeks.
No, I know.
10 games, 10 days.
It was almost as if there was like a pre-agreement, is to say, like, Klopp and Brendan Rodgers had spoke. I'm like, we'll go week if you go week, and then Brendan Rodgers reneged on the deal, and they went full strength, and we were like, oh, you know what I mean? So there's always that, you don't know until you see both teams.
They were Sunday night, weren't they? So we've had literally like nearly 30 hours rest on them. Yeah. So I think that's going to play a part as well.
Okay. Stuart Wisby says it'll be 2-0 to the Reds, and Núñez breaks as well. Do you know what? As goal scorers go, who could do with a goal? Darwin's right up there, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think, you know, this competition's been quite kind to him as well. I scored that world against Bournemouth last year, in it. So, yeah, I would be.
You know, funny enough, yesterday I started watching that Peter Crouch movie, is it called, or the Peter Crouch film or something.
Oh, right, like a documentary thing.
Yeah. And it was that good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what I forgot about is when he signed for Liverpool, I think he went 15 games without a goal.
Oh, yeah.
And
he
he
still
took
played well,
he took the pen off Gerrard.
He scored, I think,
and he missed. The keeper saved it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But shit happens.
Yeah, the first goal he scored, I think I'm right in saying, was an absolute stinker.
Yeah. I forgot I was there. I was there for that game. I forgot about that. Yeah, the loop.
It just lifted
the deflected
it.
shot.
I don't think that would be his goal if that was today.
No, I think it was just about on target. But he scored in the same game, didn't he?
Yeah, he scored twice. He scored later on. Yeah, but I remember his first one being like, oh yeah, not even close.
Shot,
yeah, it was a shock. Yeah, it was. Sound okay. I'm quite happy with that. I think we're all relatively content. I do have a prize draw to give away, so I'll do that now if that's okay. I've got 3 prints by Cali to give away. They are upstairs. I haven't got them with me, so apologies. They do exist, though. Let's take my word for it. So I'm going to spin the wheel right now, and then one of our brilliant club legends will win exactly them. I don't like the noise. Where's the noise come from?
Sounds like a 1990s game.
There we go. Jay Trendle. Congratulations, my friend. Well done to you. They will be whisking their way to your address. Well done. Congratulations. We do have loads more stuff to give away on Redmen Plus as well. We've got more books. We've got more prints later on. We've got more merch. We've got... I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. We've got a Kenny Dalglish signed football shirt to give away. Like, why am I even saying the other things? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? As if anyone's really listening to me, and then I say Kenny Dalglish. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point?
When's that for? Christmas?
That's Christmas Day. That's the biggie. We've got a David Fairclough signed shirt pre that as well, Christmas Eve. So, you know, it's not all bad. Sound? I think I'm quite happy. We'll just quickly look at the other games at this stage of the competition. So we've got Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Brentford, obviously us against Southampton, and Spurs against United. I mean, not expecting much from Crystal Palace, I take it?
No, but Arsenal will rotate. I think they will rotate. I don't think he can afford to lose an Odegaard or a Saka to injury.
No.
I think Palace, where they are in the league, they're not really going to get you up. This is one of those games that Palace and the next one you're going to talk about, Brentford, should be going absolutely gung-ho for, because they could win the cup.
I agree, but I think also you're right about Brentford and Palace, but I think Newcastle fall into that category as well.
Yeah.
I think they're desperate for silverware.
Yes, sorry, Newcastle.
Desperate for silverware. So I think that, especially at home at St James's, that crowd won't allow them not to be, you know, full strength and at it. I wouldn't have thought. So yeah, 2 interesting games there. I think there is scope for an upset in those 2.
Yeah.
Andy, Spurs, Man United. That could be anything. I would hate to predict.
Could be anything can happen. Like, the pair of them are the same. They're up and they're down now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't call that one.
I think Spurs have got well more firepower. I know United pulled a mad one out of the bag, but that was all about City being crap.
It's only occasionally that they do that, though.
Yeah,
Isn't it? Like,
I think Spurs' firepower. They've lost games 4-3, and United are a bit crap going forward. Really, overall, they have been. They haven't scored loads of goals.
Score, like,
So I think they win that game in a bit of a high score, maybe a 4-2 or 3-1. And at home, I'm just made up it's on Thursday because again we get a day off before more than they do before the game.
That is true. Yeah, that's worth considering as well.
They've got injuries as well, so they can't rotate as much. The two centre backs are going to have to play both days, etc., etc.
Yeah, if they've got any aspiration, because again they fall into the same category as Newcastle, desperate for silverware.
Yeah.
Like, they can't afford to pass up opportunities.
And Arsenal, by the way, let's not forget that Arsenal need to win something.
You're right, you know.
£700 million later.
You're right, because the knives are out for Arteta after the weekend. Absolutely.
Oh, imagine they got
tend to crumble, don't they, under pressure, Arsenal?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know,
big
they
time.
do tend to like just start blowing arse, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They're very, we say it a lot here, very sort of tightly wound. And I think that comes from the manager.
If they got beat there, I tell you what, their fans would lose their shit.
They'll have a kick off, don't they?
I think we might have started, to be honest with you, the weekend. Some of the clips and some of the things that were said were A, wild, and B, just well out of proportion. Like,
I just go straight to the Tottenham fan, what's his name's expression. As soon as Arsenal get beat, he's just on form. I love it.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is. So a couple more bits to do before I wrap up. Watch Along, of course, will be here in this studio that way a little bit. Tomorrow night, I will be here with Chris and Paul, so make sure you come and join us for that particular ride. We've done the other fixtures, which is nice. The final thing I need to do, Andy, involves you, my friend. Anyone who doesn't know, Andy Hodgson is famed musician, Liverpool musician now. Famous for lots of things, but the Louis Diaz song in particular. I haven't asked you to do a rendition of it yet, count yourself lucky. But yeah, what have you got going on? What's coming up? You've got an event in the new year. Tell people what's happening.
Yeah, well, I have got my own event in January the 4th. We've got a few venues lined up, but we're just seeing how we do with the sales first, and then that'll come out. But yeah, I've done events everywhere, but I've never done one for myself in Liverpool. So for the Man United game, I thought I would take a chance. Like, let's see. But I've already sold all the tickets, so I'm excited for it.
Good. Yeah. People want to see you, mate.
You're the reason why my son absolutely adores Louis Diaz. He's got number 7 on his own team shirt. It's like, I promise you, I'm taking him to the Atkinson game. It's because his pathway into football is because of that song. You know, just something grabs a kid. Yeah. So, thank you, mate.
No, it's lovely. Like, a lot of people send like videos or tag me in videos and pictures with the kids. The kids love it.
Oh, mate.
Like the kids have got the microphone stand, they've got the bucket hats on, the little guitars, and they've got me on YouTube.
That's class.
And they're copying like the foot stomping it.
Yeah, that's boss.
It's cool, yeah.
That's
great.
I love that, absolutely. We'll put a link in the description and all that, mate, as well. We'll plug it on our socials too. Boss, sound, happy days. Jobs are good. We all good? We happy?
Looking forward to it. No?
Looking forward to it. Sound. Hope you are as well. I will see you all tomorrow. Take it easy until then. Bye for now.